The game you guys knew as Star Fox, we knew as Lilac Wars. This is what I knew this game as over here in the UK, and I think the rest of Europe had it as Lilac Wars as well. And guys, one of the things I love about FPGA gaming and the amazing work the core developer Robert Peip is doing, like, we have options. Now, I know we all know the best way to play these games, or the way they're meant to be played, is via NTSC 60 Hz. But over here in the UK, Europe, we had PAL, and we knew that was the inferior version. But guys, most of us had RF TVs. We had TVs that did not have SCART, did not have composite, didn't have any of that stuff. It just had that aerial port at the back, that RF port that you would plug your aerial into. You would buy like those little double-ended things, so you could plug in like your games console or the aerial or the VCR. A lot of stuff just went through that. So we didn't have the best experience in gaming growing up, and that wasn't just like 8-bit consoles, 16-bit consoles, then moving over to like PlayStation and the Nintendo 64. I even remember when I had my PlayStation and my Dreamcast, my PlayStation 2, sorry, and my Dreamcast, it was via RF. So even though Japan and America had like the Bruce Lee equivalent of their consoles, over here in the UK and Europe, we kind of had Steven Seagal. But I remember these games, and it's nice to kind of play it, because some of the games I know well, it just they definitely feel more accurate to how I remember them. But the way I played them wasn't the best way available to play them, because we had limited choices in Europe, and obviously in order to have a SCART TV, well, you needed to spend a bit more money. Okay guys, if you want to see an exclusive game, a game that's only available in the European region, this is TAS Express. And honestly guys, it's the first time I tried this game, and you're not missing much. Like, there's probably a reason it stayed in Europe. You know, you can play this in all its 50 Hertz goodness or badness, and honestly, it's not even worth having a look at. Let me know in the comments below, any of my European viewers, subscribers, if you guys actually played this game and if you liked it, because I kind of put it on and I just, there's nothing really interesting about this game, apart from there's a hot dog there that I can eat, because hey man, who doesn't like hot dogs? So here is another European exclusive. I think this came out in Europe and Japan, just not USA, and this is Rakuga Kids. Unfortunately, it didn't work for me. Hopefully it'll get working later and we can test it out. I do like the title screen and the art style, but when I tried to get into the game, the game did actually crash on me. So this is something maybe to try in the future, you know, when the core when the core is updated a bit more, and hopefully this will start working. And guys, here is Mortal Kombat 4. Now, this isn't by any means a PAL exclusive game. The reason I put this on there is because, hey, I used to play this around my friend's house at 50 Hertz on PAL, and he just always battered me at it. It's just, I never owned this game. I went around his house, he loved this game a lot, he played it a lot, and he absolutely just washed the floor with me. It came to a point where I had to stop playing it. So I wanted to show this because it is actually playing very, very nicely. And I don't know, let me know in the comments below, is this considered a decent Mortal Kombat or not? I mean, it feels a little bit off. I don't know what it is about the game, but maybe I should play it some more. Okay, so guys, let's get PAL Games working on our MiSTer, the N64 core of the MiSTer. So let's head over to the MiSTer FPGA Discord. As usual, an invite link will be in the description of the video. And let's go over and download the latest unstable build of the MiSTer operating system, which will be under Feeds and Test Builds Unstable Nightlies. Go with whatever the latest unstable version is. At the time of shooting this video, which I'm shooting this on the 10th, this was released earlier on today at 7:47 AM, I think. So let's go ahead and download that. Bang, that's downloading. Then next up, we want to go to Test Builds, which is under the same thing, Feeds and Test Builds. Now, the video game footage that you saw I captured yesterday on the 9th, when the core was released, there's been an updated version of the core, so download the latest version of the core. But PAL support was added yesterday on the 9th, but we're gonna go ahead and download the latest version of the core. So one thing to know over here, the most important thing in the core that was released yesterday, in the notes that Robert posted with the test build, is implement PAL switch, PIF BIOS, file download, and video out 50 Hz. PAL PIF as boots.rom. So we need to name the PAL BIOS as boots.rom. So what you can do is you can highlight it here and just copy it if you want, or you can type that, whichever works for you. So let's now head over to our files. So on the left hand side is my downloads folder, And on the right hand side, let's go to the root of our micro SD card, because that's where I like starting. That's the root of my MiSTer SD card. So first thing we want to do is we want to rename the unstable version of MiSTer to just MiSTer, nothing else, and it will replace that one. Now, if you want to back up your main MiSTer or anything, you can rename the MiSTer file you have on there as MiSTer main, MiSTer old, whatever you want to do. This is my unstable build, so I am just going to overwrite this tray. I don't need the backup, but you know, if you're new to this, you might want to back your file up. Then we want to update the core to the latest version, which just goes into the console folder. So let's just copy that in there, drag and drop it, copy and paste, whatever works for you. So here we go. We've got the latest version of the core. That's the one yesterday. That's the one that all the videos kind of featured. But hey, you know, while I'm doing the tutorial, I might as well add the latest core on there. Now, here's the most important part, which is your BIOS. So this is my BIOS file. I can't help you with it, but you need the Nintendo 64 PIF. You need the European version in order to get PAL working. So we want to rename that. So I'm just going to double click it slowly and it will let me rename it. So I've already copied the name I needed, but see, I'm making a mistake here because I also need to change the extension from .bin to .rom. So let me just highlight absolutely everything and Control V, which will let me paste, or you can just right click and paste, and that's going to give me a warning saying you're changing the file extension. It may become unusable. Just, you know, do you want to change it? Yes, we definitely want to change it, because that's how we're going to get PAL games working. And then head over to your games folder and head over to your N64 folder. Now, if you haven't got some of this stuff, just watch one of my other tutorials, because all your games are going to go in a folder called N64, and that's where your BIOS is going to go. So that's my original BIOS, which I think's like the US BIOS or whatever the original one was. And now I'm going to add boot.rom in my games N64 folder. Now that that's there, I've got access to play PAL games. And honestly, that's really it, guys. If you want more information about like a full install, I'll link a guide in the description of the video. It'll talk you through anything that I'm kind of missing here. But this kind of tutorials in mind that you've already got it up and working and you want to try PAL games. But if you want to do it from scratch, I've kind of given you most of the stuff, but you can go to Vampir's site. You can download the database and add it to this folder here, and then you can add your games. You're pretty much covered in here as well, but I have got more in-depth tutorials. And that's really it, guys. Your game should be, your PAL games should run, provided you have done this. Let's check the next step. Okay guys, so once you load up your Nintendo 64 core, head over to system settings. Once you go over to system settings, go to system type, change it from NTSC to PAL, but then after that, make sure you save your settings if you want to remain on PAL. And if you want to go back to NTSC, then you can always go back to NTSC and save. Like, I would say the better way to play is via NTSC, but hey man, if you want a nostalgia kick, kind of like I do by playing a bit of PAL, then definitely check out a bit of PAL. Okay guys, let's round up with Mario Kart 64, because I think I played this on both. I played this via SCAR and I played it via PAL, but I think mostly it would have been the PAL 50Hz version. And this is what we generally play. Now, I've been playing, and one of the other reasons I chose this game, I've been playing this game a lot on the normal core, the NTSC version of the core, and it does feel slower. It feels slower to me. Now, I don't know if that's placebo or anything there, but it definitely feels slow. Even though it's only at 50 Hz and sorry, not 50 Hz, 50 cc, 50 Hz as well, yeah. But sorry, I'm running the race at 50 cc, and it is like the slowest speed you can race in the game, but it feels slower than 50cc on NTSC. But it's definitely good. If you played a lot of games growing up in Europe and the UK, and that's how you played it, it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, it's not the way I'd recommend to play. Go back to NTSC when you can, but the beauty of FPGA, it's having choices. It's having the choice to play stuff badly, nicely. I guess it's a recreation, or kind of like reliving memories of your childhood, or maybe of some better times. But that's really it for this video, guys. I wanted to kind of showcase PAL with like an exclusive game. I did try some of the other ones. They didn't boot for me. There's like a Football Manager game, a couple of F1 games. I didn't even bother loading up the Football Manager game. I don't think, I am just really not interested in looking at those games. I played them at one point in my life, but never again. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up, subscription, all the good stuff. I'll see you guys around. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.